Carlos, so tell us a little bit about your background, how you ended up at Delxico.
Sure, sure. Well, most of my background is in operations and manufacturing. I worked in the corporate world for 25 plus years for the same company. Started from the bottom up and worked my way up. For the last 15 years, I had very high positions. I was VP of operations, VP of supply chain, VP of manufacturing in several different divisions. So that kind of planted the seed to what I wanted to do at the end. So in 2016, I decided to leave that corporate world and, try something new. And I kid you not, all I did was change my LinkedIn profile that says that I was no longer a VP of operations. I was a consultant. I had no idea what I was going to do. I told at this time we were in Chicago, my wife and I told her, you want to move somewhere warmer? And we chose San Antonio. A week later, I get a message through LinkedIn saying, hey, we see that you're a consultant. You have a lot of experience in manufacturing, specifically of medical devices. So we want to talk to you. That's how Delxico was born. I kind of scrambled to get my name. I picked the name out of the hat. Got my tax ID, and they became my first client. They stayed with me for over 2 years. And that's how it all started. It started more of a consulting company. So I'm going to be 9 years young in the consulting and coaching world. About 3 years ago, I started shifting a little more into the small business coaching. And that's really where my happy place is.
So then tell me about your small business coaching. How do you approach it? Maybe that's unique in that space?
Yeah, so I developed my own method, and I call it FORM. And I looked at 4 different aspects of the business. The first one is we look at your financial basics, and I call it financial basics mastering. So kind of teach you how to get a hold of your financials and your business. The second one is optimizing your unique selling proposition, really your marketing, what makes you you and unique. The third one is optimizes your process and systems. That's really preparing your business so it runs without you. And the last one, to me, the most important one, is the motivating and building your team. So ultimately, what I teach and what I sell, if you want to call it selling, is I teach business owners or entrepreneurs how to run their business without them. Ultimately, that's what I do. So I end up with 2 very distinct types of clients. On the one end, a very successful entrepreneur, either with one very successful business or several, but it's still prisoner of their own success. They're working 80, 90 hours a week, don't know how to scale that, can't let go. So I end up teaching them how to delegate, how to lead, how to set up their business with systems and processes so they can step back.
Yeah, and that's starting with the end in mind. Have an exit strategy, whether it's giving it to your kids or if it's selling it or whatever else. Something that you didn't mention was how you approach, or do you even approach branding strategy with respect to your clients, or is that something that maybe you'd partner with a branding company to help with that? Because that's super important as well.
Well, that is part of the second
the O.
part of the form, the O. Yeah, the optimizing your unique selling proposition. We looked at the branding, but my approach is a bit different because what I do is I get to know the human behind the business. I make it a point to get to know who you are, your kids, what do you like, your hobbies. I spend a lot of time with you asking a lot of personal questions because if I don't understand the person behind the business, it's going to be very difficult for me to help them. And you can't just paint everybody with the same brush, right? We're all different. Even if you're doing the same thing or selling the same thing, at the end of the day, your own personality, your own uniqueness has to be part of your branding. So I'm not an expert on branding, but I know how to get it started, and I do partner up with professional that I can do branding and pair them up. As a coach, I do a lot of that. I pair up with the masters for whatever they need. I kind of get them started. So I'm not a financial whiz by any means. I understand the how to run a business, but if somebody needs a financial whiz, I have a partner that I can, set him up with and say, hey, you need to speak to this person because they're the expert. They're going to help take you to a completely different level, right? So,
How are you currently marketing your business?
so I do a lot of my own marketing, only because I like to learn just about everything. So I do my happy place is LinkedIn, and that's why I started offering that because I kind of mastered it, and I made every mistake in the book. I became that pushy sales guy. I started spamming everybody. But I just kept learning and learning. I found a few people that their message kind of resonated with me and how they do their things. And I'm just kind of learning from them and copying them. So for the past, I would say 6 months, I completely shifted the way I do the marketing. And I think it's called broadcasting marketing, where all I do is I basically give away everything that I know. A lot of content where I just teach how to do things. I give away literally everything that I know. And that completely shifted the mindset. So now I'm being, instead of me chasing after a client or a lead, they're coming to me as the expert because of all the content.
Right, because you're showing your authority and you're not spending your time chasing people that want to DIY it anyway.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's just like a money pit right there.
And that ends
up
up happening anyway. There's very few people that are going to take what you teach them and run with it. Very few. The majority don't want to do it.
Or they'll run themselves into a wall at some point because they don't have enough time or expertise.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many times they come back to me and say, I followed everything you gave me. I followed everything that that I downloaded from your website, but I'm stuck. Where do I go? And I help them. I said, well, do this, do that. And they try it and they come back and say, you know what? You do it. You do it for me.
So I like all that. All right, Carlos, well, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
So you can go to my website, www.delxico.com, or you can call my cell number is 847-650-6972, and I'll be happy to have a chat with you.
All right. Well, thanks, Carlos. I appreciate that.